Well, it's extremely important, as a matter of fact, because it's not based upon contrast. It's based upon connections. And the ability to make connections you're seeing here are both personal, they're both intellectual, and they're collegial connections. I can give you my experience, though, of the importance of it, because in my aesthetics courses, I taught for years a course called Art and Philosophy. Not philosophy of art, but art and philosophy. And I also taught a course called Art, Language and Philosophy. Not philosophy of language, but language and philosophy. And I taught it to large groups of undergraduates who were in their third or their fourth year. It made a big difference with many of the students who, when they graduated, would write back, and one became a monk, but he became a Buddhist monk. He's lived in Nepal, and he was a wonderful guy, but he does the translation work for the community. And I've had others who came, they was transferring, and they were philosophy majors, and they become lawyers, etc., and they continue on. And this one was very special because he had turned down Harvard Law School. Now, nobody turns down Harvard Law School. If you're admitted to Harvard Law School, you're admitted to Harvard Law School. But he went to Columbia and became a very successful lawyer doing public-supported real estate, building housing for people who could not afford their own house, so affordable housing. But he took very complicated things. Charles Taylor, who was a professor in Montreal at McGill University, wrote a huge book. It's called, The Origins of the Self. And he argued, he said, why don't you give us a seminar on this? But he wasn't going to go on in philosophy. He was going to go on living. He's going to be in living. So it ends up informing his life. And my wife taught for many years at the university. Before that, she taught in a private high school for women. And I ended up knowing most of her students who ended up in my classes at the university. They came straight, and I knew them from the high school period, but they became all sorts of very interesting people, namely art historians, well-known art historians. Morrison Hartley was an American, very important American painter. One of her students and one of my students is the author of one of the major books on him. So I would say, but they had the same type of, the things we've been talking about and talked about in class. So I would say there is a payoff but it's not where they say, well, I went on in philosophy because of you. They went on in life, and they found what it was that was pulling them forward. And I think that is one of the best things, that they would want to come to class.